I'm Dr. Rashmi Bhargava. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist in Regina. It's my pleasure to give you this video on teachers' orientation to the Interpartum 1's clinical skills session for the female reproductive module. This year we are trying a new approach for delivering the goods to the teacher and the student, and we hope in this way to standardize the process of the material that needs to be learned by the students and provided by you, the clinical preceptors. So just realize that Interpartum 1 is all about normal labor and birth, and you are bringing to it your clinical expertise, and my job as your clinical skills lead is to provide you with an avenue, this 2-hour session where you can provide your clinical expertise to the students and have them clinically apply their knowledge to cases that are relevant to labor and delivery. So how this 2-hour session is going to unroll is in the form of 11 cases, and you will have running in the room for you this master PowerPoint, and you can refer to it at any point in time. And the most important is to realize that this list of competencies are what we'd like the students to attain at the end of the clinical skills session. And through these 11 cases that we have drawn out for you, each of these competencies will be covered easily during this 2-hour session. So please set your time clock appropriately. Be wary of the time, as there's a lot of material that needs to be covered. So we thought we would just give you an example of what the room will look like in terms of the stations for each of the cases, and I'd like to briefly run through this with you. The cases 1 to 3 has to do with maternal anatomy and fetal anatomy. So we're going to be talking, you'll be talking to the students about the maternal bony pelvis, its landmarks, what the true pelvis is, the different kinds of bony pelvises. Then we have the fetal skull, its anatomic landmarks, and what that means to the laboring process. There'll be a maternal abdomen where you're able to discuss terminology such as engagement and lie, the presentations, and how to do Leopold's maneuvers on the maternal abdomen in order to figure out the way that the baby is lying in the pregnant uterus. And when we go to cases 4 to 6, they primarily have to do with the cervical exam. And these are the cervical pelvic models that you will be utilizing when you're doing this teaching. And each student will get an opportunity to measure their finger in terms of their length and their width for their examining hand, and practice how to assess the cervical changes that are part of the laboring process. And in this process, you will be reviewing cases 4 to 6 with them, discussing the early stages of labor and the cervical changes associated with that. When it comes to case number 7, we are going to be talking about the amniotomy and how do you diagnose ruptured membranes. And so we have for you available a microscope with a slide that shows burning. We have an orange with fluid around it so that the students can learn how to do artificial ruptured membranes using an amnio hook, how to apply the scalp electrode, as well as putting this picture together brings us to the cardinal movements of labor. And I think that when you have this building block, it is easier for the student to understand what those cardinal movements are. And you will further be able to apply this to an actual simulation, which we have in a hi-fi room, where the students should participate and be witness to a simulated vaginal birth. So you will hopefully have the delivery room and available in the simulation suite, along with the delivery bundle, and you can show to them how a baby is actually born. And that really will send the message home to the students. We also have part of this, the station where you will be discussing the different kinds of placentas and what they look like, the anatomy of the placenta, as well as the pathologies that can be associated with the placenta. There will be laminated versions of different kinds of placenta available in the room. And last but not least, the last case will be to discuss the different kinds of perineal lacerations that can occur during a vaginal delivery and how we do the repairs in terms of the degrees of tears. So that's the goal in this 2-hour session, and I'm hopeful that you will be able to go through this study guide for these various cases, and just realize you will be given the PowerPoint presentation as well as the answers to these clinical cases in the form of a PowerPoint that will come to you in an email from the College of Medicine. So please do come prepared and relax and have some fun with the students when you're going through this normal labor and birth topic. Thank you very much.